100,000 album units in week 1 in 2026 for a genre-blending artist sitting somewhere between country, indie, folk, and pop. That number is not normal. That is a marketing statement. And the craziest part, Kacey Musgraves didn't get there by chasing TikTok dances, manufacturing controversy, or flooding social media with content. Instead, she executed one of the smartest offline first album campaigns we've seen in years. Welcome back to LabelGrid, the channel where we break down the business psychology, branding, and marketing strategies behind the biggest artist rollouts in music. Today, we are dissecting the blueprint behind Middle of Nowhere, the album that completely repositioned Kacey Musgraves commercially while reconnecting her to the Texas-rooted identity that made fans fall in love with her in the first place. Because this wasn't just an album release, this was a tactical reset. Her team abandoned passive streaming-first marketing and built a rollout around scarcity, analog experiences, fashion ecosystems, physical media, and community psychology. And if you are an artist, label executive, manager, or independent musician trying to understand how to survive the modern streaming economy, this rollout is mandatory to study. Let's get into it. Kacey Musgraves abandoned the internet and won. Kacey Musgraves literally made fans call a phone number to hear her music and somehow turned that into one of the most viral country marketing campaigns of 2026. For the last few years, album rollouts have all started looking identical. Artists wipe their Instagram feeds, upload cryptic teaser clips, launch pre-save campaigns, and pray the algorithm decides to care. The problem is that audiences have become completely numb to it. Everything feels disposable because everything is instantly available. Kacey Musgraves understood that before most artists did, which is why her team went in the exact opposite direction for Middle of Nowhere. Instead of beginning online, they took the campaign into the physical world. Random retro billboards started appearing across highways and roadsides with almost no context attached to them. No QR codes, just a vintage outlaw-style image of Kacey. A tagline promising a real good time and a mysterious phone number. And when fans actually dialed the number, they heard Kacey greeting them directly before playing an unreleased snippet of Dry Spell. That smart detail completely changed the psychology of the rollout. Instead of passively scrolling past another teaser post, fans had to actively participate. They had to stop what they were doing, manually type the number into their phone, listen to the recording, and discover the music themselves. That friction created emotional investment. Suddenly, the rollout felt tangible, exclusive, and personal. Fans immediately started screen recording the hotline and uploading it to TikTok and Instagram, creating organic virality without the label needing to force trends artificially. Kacey's team understood something the industry forgot. When music feels harder to access, audiences often value it more. One of the biggest lessons here is that reducing friction is not always the answer. Sometimes strategic friction creates stronger fan investment. When audiences have to slightly work for an experience, it stops feeling disposable and starts feeling memorable. Kacey Musgraves didn't pick collaborators for streams. She picked them like a chess player controlling demographics. One of the smartest parts of Middle of Nowhere was how every collaboration served a completely different strategic function. Most artists stack features based on whoever is trending, but Kacey's team approached collaborations like audience architecture. Willie Nelson immediately gives her credibility with traditional country audiences and older listeners who still value authenticity and legacy. Billy Strings connects her to the bluegrass and jam band ecosystem, one of the most loyal, highest-spending fan communities in live music. Gregory Alan Isakov reconnects her with indie folk listeners who love the emotional softness of Golden Hour. But the most important collaboration on the album was Miranda Lambert. For years, country media and fan communities pushed rumors about tension between the two artists. Instead of avoiding that narrative, the rollout leaned directly into it. Their collaboration became an event because it resolved years of speculation while simultaneously uniting two of the most recognizable independent female voices in modern country music. Suddenly, media outlets had a built-in storyline to discuss, which generated massive free press coverage without needing huge advertising budgets. This is what separates strategic collaborations from random features. The best collaborations don't just add streams, They add narrative, they create conversion, they expand your audience emotionally, culturally, and psychologically. Artists need to stop asking who can give me numbers and start asking who expands my story, because the right collaboration builds cultural weight, not just temporary playlist traction. Kacey Musgraves turned fashion into an album. Kacey Musgraves didn't just market music, she built an entire lifestyle universe around Middle of Nowhere. One of the biggest reasons this era felt so immersive is because the music wasn't the only product being sold. Kacey's team transformed the album into a full visual ecosystem through fashion partnerships and collectible identity marketing. Just days before the release, Depop announced a partnership featuring curated capsule drops directly from Kacey's wardrobe, including pieces worn in music videos, tour outfits, and iconic public appearances tied to the era. That strategy works because modern fandom is no longer purely about listening. Fans want to physically participate in the identity of an era. They want to wear it, photograph it, post it, and emotionally live inside it. The Lee Denim collaboration reinforced this even further by turning the visual identity of Middle of Nowhere into something audiences could literally buy into. Vintage Texas aesthetics, rural styling, Western silhouettes, all of it extended the album narrative beyond Spotify and into fashion culture. The genius here is that the partnerships never felt disconnected from the music. The music videos function like visual advertisements for the lifestyle itself, while the clothing collaborations introduced Kacey to audiences outside traditional music spaces. Someone browsing for fashion could suddenly become emotionally attached to the album world without even realizing it. If your visual identity is strong enough, your marketing shouldn't stop at music. The strongest artist brands today don't sell songs, they sell worlds. Kacey Musgraves just proved something the music industry doesn't want to admit: streaming alone is no longer enough. One of the most shocking statistics behind Middle of Nowhere was how heavily the album relied on physical sales. More than 37,000 first-week units came directly from vinyl. In an era dominated by streaming, that is massive, but it wasn't accidental. Kacey's team treated physical media as the centerpiece of the rollout instead of an afterthought. Multiple vinyl variants were fully manufactured and ready on release week. Independent record stores were activated early with localized listening events and exclusive inventory. Fans weren't just encouraged to stream the album, they were encouraged to own it. And psychologically, ownership changes everything. Streaming feels temporary, vinyl feels permanent. A physical record becomes identity signaling. It becomes part of someone's home routine and personal culture. The listening parties also created communal experiences in a market where music consumption has become increasingly isolated. Fans gathered in real-world spaces, met other listeners, and emotionally connected the album to physical memories. That combination of scarcity, collectivity, and community is what pushed the vinyl strategy into overdrive. If you want longevity, focus on ownership, not just access. Streams disappear into algorithms. Physical experiences create emotional memory. Kacey Musgraves didn't reinvent herself completely, and that's exactly why this rollout worked. The biggest mistake artists make during rebrands is abandoning the identity that built their audience in the first place. Kacey avoided that trap perfectly. She didn't erase the introspection of Deeper Well or the softness of Golden Hour. She simply evolved the energy around it. She reintroduced movement humor, Texas dancehall culture, physical community, and analog nostalgia without losing emotional authenticity. And that balance is the real secret behind Middle of Nowhere. Too much change and audiences disconnect. No change at all and audiences get bored. Kacey Musgraves found the perfect middle ground between familiarity and reinvention, which is why this era felt both fresh and deeply recognizable at the same time. So what are the biggest lessons of this album rollout? Offline experiences are becoming more valuable because digital spaces are overcrowded. Strategic friction can create stronger emotional investment. Collaborations should build narrative. Collaborations should build narrative, not just streams. Physical media is no longer nostalgic. It's premium positioning. And most importantly, artist longevity is built by deepening identity, not endlessly chasing trends. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to subscribe to LabelGrid for more deep dives into psychology, branding, and business strategies behind the biggest artists in the world. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in our next video. Bye!